Hello, Froggy here, and today I'll be showing you how to cheese the Fallen Barrier encounter post-patch. This will require at least 2 people, one of whom needs to know how to Sparrow fly. It is a bit more involved than the previous method. So you're going to want to do this with a checkpoint post-Sparrow encounter. Luckily, that is a checkpoint you can restart and pass and save, so this is repeatable, which means at least technically farmable. You're going to want to make your way towards the hole in the ceiling over here that I showed in my previous Grasp of Avarice video. We're just going to go on up. Both players will need to do this part. We'll eventually be doing a drop box here, but first we need to get some eyes on the inside. We're going to go head into the next load. There's a lot of ground, invisible and otherwise, that you can walk on here, so you can actually walk a good deal of the way. We're going to be hitting the load for the next encounter outside of the map. It's a little bit tricky to hit the load and survive, but I'll be showing you a reasonably consistent way that Corolla showed me. So you normally can't summon here, but if you jump up a little bit you can. And just bring the Sparrow over here. You can technically do this without a Sparrow, it's just less consistent. So we're going to take the Sparrow directly down the middle here, and we should load safely. You might lose your Sparrow, but that's okay, we don't really need that anymore. This part is easiest on Titan, but any class can do it. We're going to need to do a little sword flying with height gain. At least if you want to do it the fastest way. There is solid ground you can walk on down there. However, you'll want to look out because it stops part way. Luckily, you can crouch to see where it is. Once you've gotten underneath the obstacles in your way, you can regain your height with a steady sword flight. If you opted to go the water route, you're going to have to do some stasis climbing. So, as you can see, there are some nice new rocks in our way there, but from here, the route to the box is identical. I'm on a Titan, so catapult lift makes these jumps rather easy. I'm just gonna climb up these rocks here to get a good vantage point. So the new barriers isn't the only addition to this encounter, as you'll see in a moment. I was actually fairly surprised when you were able to damage the Vandal through the floor, because in Deepstone that doesn't happen because of their several layered box. And sure enough, that is much larger now. No way you'll be reaching the enemy through the ground. But if we can't damage him through the box, we just need to get inside. So at this point you're going to want to use a mountaintop with sticky grenades on, or something like that, which your ally in the other load will be able to use to line themselves up with the center of the box. Corolla just died in air, and in just a little bit, he now has his ghost inside. And with a bit of auto-res magic, we can take out the fallen shield in one blow. So I'll be showing you how, oh nice, rank up. I'll be showing you how that part works next. Going back up to the first hole we went out of, here is where we're going to need our flipped Sparrow for the drop box. So just either have the third person set one up, or you can set it up yourself and leave and rejoin. Before you head out, make sure you've lowered your light and you have a means to die quickly. The timing on the Sparrow drop is about 7 seconds. It's a bit tight, so you'll want to summon and kill your momentum as fast as possible. You'll also want to avoid gaining too much height for a while, because the death barrier is not all that far above you. To be extra safe, you might want to go all the way until you're close to the person spotting for you, before you go too far upwards. This is by far the most time-consuming part. If we still had the Liar's launch, could have launched horizontally instead of having to drop down all that way, and if you were able to get outside of the box that way, it would save a whole lot of time. It's possible that Eager's Edge with a heavy swing might do something similar. If I ever get it, I'll have to try that out. Anyways, once you've gotten to about where the box is, have your allies start sending the markers. Once you're lined up with the bottom one, you can have your allies start sending the side ones. It's useful to note that since it's perpendicular to the box, you can use that to control your left-right position. Simply shoot the Sparrow when you jump off and you should get it. A little above the marker is probably best. Now you just have to die to the load to complete the IRB. So you just want to carefully make your way over. Whatever you do, you don't want to die to anything that isn't either the true edge or a load zone. And you're not likely to hit the true edge over here, so just try not to fall. Because if you do, you'll have to do the entire Sparrow flight over again. Before I show you what success looks like, here's what to do if you fail to die to the load. You could climb that structure and jump in the open side and hit the load and try again. But you can also hit the load from the outside down here without the hazardous climbing. If you survive the load, you can just climb back up here and immediately try again. Though it is fairly likely that that load will kill you. Like what happened to me here. If this happens, you're fine. You still have your IRB points set. You just have to climb up the much safer inside of this little bit. So here's how you want to hit the load. Just kind of crouch walk into the side. You should be able to spectate your floating ghost. If you're on the bottom, you might want to retry, unless you're a hunter with your stasis super. Before you start the encounter, you're going to want to make sure you bring your light back up, because it would be pretty awkward to hit the ad for 0 damage. I'll be bringing the death with a Deathbringer this time. Once you're ready, have a player approach to start the encounter. You don't have long to hit it, so turn towards the center, shoot, and end it in a single blow. Bungie may be trying to control how we do this encounter, but Guardians make their own fate. It may be a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. And deleted.